Hi everyone, Jack of all AI here, and welcome to this microblog, AI Powered Motorsports. I'm a huge Formula One nut. Friends and I watch races together almost as a religion as Sunday comes around. I've been to Spa in Belgium and Silverstone races in the past, and quite honestly, I can say I prefer the ear-piercing sound of the V8s from back in the day. But these four-stroke 1.6 litre V6 hybrid engines are starting to grow on me. I've been thinking about what it is I love so much about Formula One and motorsport racing in general. Of course, it's a hugely competitive sport and there is friendly rivalry between teams on the track and in the pit lane, but it also is an incredibly inclusive sport and strives for equality. So what is it then? For me, it's the technical aspects of every car, designed from the ground up to be the pinnacle of what is possible with a car engine. It's the detail in the lap-by-lap strategies, when to pit and change tyres, or whether to retire the car due to issues and preserve the componentry for the next race. It's the developments that make it into production cars in the future. Think of ERS, or the engine recovery system, previously KERS. That is now practically a standard practice to be implemented into the modern motor engine. Now, when I think about AI in motorsports, you might immediately think of something like RoboRace. I think of trackside analytics being processed at the track, or even AI processing on the car itself, currently not allowed under the rules in Formula One, and then the car then passing that information that's important to the team back to the pit wall. RoboRace, if you're not familiar, is a new sport that has been designed with AI right at its heart, for all the cars to be equal, but only the AI trained itself to be varied per team. Therefore, it's a sport of pure science from a software perspective. The hardware, i.e. the vehicle, just works. So how do I see trackside analytics moving forward? Would you be surprised that alongside the ECU inside a Formula One car, it also has a full x86 computer inside it also? Practically a gaming PC inside a Formula One car. Every car produces over 11 terabytes, which is around 225 50 gigabyte Blu-ray discs each race weekend. Hypothetically speaking, that PC is there just purely to collect data on all of the telemetry data, visual, i.e. camera, and infrared sensory data for it to be streamed back to the pit wall, to then have pre-processing done and data being sent back to the team's HQ to have decisions made to go back to the pit wall to have action on track, i.e. pits now, box, or you are racing for position X against car Y. Latency, this is the time that it takes for information to get from one point to another. So as described above, there are latencies at each point of the process. So from an F1 car to the pit wall, you can imagine, let's say that's 5 milliseconds. From the pit wall to HQ, let's say that's 100. Information processing, let's say 60,000 milliseconds, or let's say a minute. HQ back to pit wall, another 100 milliseconds. Decision making, again, I'm sort of timing that around a minute. To driver engineer radio call, let's say 10,000 milliseconds. To driver action, 1,000 milliseconds. So that total round trip there is around 131,000 milliseconds, or around 2.2 minutes. I see the future of trackside analytics to have more information, telemetry data pre-processed by the car, and then that relevant information screened at the pit wall. There are huge differences in latencies as to whether the event's in Melbourne, Australia, or at Silverstone, UK, where the latency is much lower and some of the team's HQs are just down the road. So that round trip can suddenly change to F1 car AI model to pit wall, 5 milliseconds, pit wall to HQ, 100 milliseconds, with skipping the information processing piece because that's done at the pit wall. And then we talk about decision making, again, around 20,000 milliseconds, driver engineer radio call, 10,000 milliseconds, and then driver action again, 1,000 milliseconds. So that drops 100,000 milliseconds off of the total. And that's less than a minute. So how could this be achievable? Well, get in touch to find out more at www.jackofallai.co.uk or email me at jackofallai@gmail.com. Thanks for reading. Best of luck to the drivers and teams and fans for this 2023 season. I've been Jack of All AI. You've been awesome. Thanks for tuning in and subscribe. Cheers.